Man, you should have seen her Lydia Harper, our HOA dictator, bursting out of my pool like a drowned peacock, her skin glowing this ridiculous neon purple, shrieking loud enough to wake the dead. She stood there, dripping, her platinum blonde hair streaked violet, looking less like the queen of Meadowbrook Lane and more like she'd just lost a paintball war with a grape soda factory. The neighbors stopped, dead lawnmowers stalled, kids froze on their bikes, phones came out snapping pics, and I just leaned against my patio door, grinning like I'd won the lottery. Let me back up, because this wasn't just some random prunk. It was a war, one I didn't ask for, but sure as hell finished. My name's Matt, and my backyard pool on Meadowbrook Lane, here in sunny suburban Raleigh, was my slice of heaven. After 20 years of grinding at a desk job, missing family dinners, and skipping vacations, I'd saved up enough to build that Paola shimmering rectangle of peace where I could float with a cold beer, listen to the crickets, and forget the world for a while. It wasn't just water and concrete. It was a promise I'd made to myself, a reward for all the late nights and early mornings. But peace? Yeah, that's hard to keep when you've got an HOA run by someone like Lydia. Lydia Harper 50-ish, always sporting a fake tan that screamed, "I'm trying too hard," clutching her clipboard like it was the Constitution itself. She didn't walk our neighborhood. She prowled it, hunting for anything she could slap a violation on. Crooked mailbox? Violation. Grass half an inch too long? Violation. My personal favorite? Your porch light is too dim. Mathowitz a safety hazard. I swear, she loved riding those little pink slips more than she loved her own kids. And here's the kicker. Lydia didn't even have a pool. Her backyard was a sad patch of astroturf and a single sad palm tree, which made her obsession with mine all the more infuriating. At first, I thought I could stay under her radar. I paid my dues, kept my lawn trimmed, nodded politely at HOA meetings, and figured she'd go harass someone else like poor old Tom next door, who got a 3-page lecture for planting tulips instead of petunias. For a few months, my pool was safe, my mornings quiet, just me and my coffee watching the sunlight dance on the water. But then summer hit, and things got weird. I come home from work to find damp footprints on my patio, a soggy towel slung over my chair, once even a half-empty energy drink bobbing in the shallow end like some kind of suburban flotsam. I told myself it was nothing, maybe the wind, maybe a raccoon with a drinking problem, but deep down, I knew better. One Saturday, I stepped outside with my coffee, ready for my ritual, when I heard it splashing. Not a bird or a stray cat, but full on, someone's in my pool splashing. I rounded the corner, and there she was, Lydia, floating in my pool on my inflatable pizza slice, wearing a lime green swim cap and sunglasses, sipping something pink from a tumbler with a tiny umbrella. I stood there, coffee mug frozen in my hand, wondering if I'd slipped into some bizarre reality show. She saw me and didn't even flinch, just waved like she was hosting a barbecue. "Oh, Matthew, good to see you," she chirped like I'd caught her borrowing a cup of sugar. "Just checking your pool's pH level scant. Let it go to waste. It's bad for the neighborhood vibe." I blinked hard. "Lydia, this is my pool. Private property. You can't just—" But she cut me off, waving her manicured hand. "Oh, don't be dramatic. An unused pool drags down property values. I'm doing you a favor keeping the water circulating, for harmony." "Harmony?" She said like she was Gandhi, not some busybody paddling around my backyard. I took a deep breath, kept my voice steady, and said, "Get out. Now." She climbed out, slow as molasses, dripping water all over my deck, and gave me this syrupy smile. "Think about the community, Matthew. We'll talk at the next meeting." Then she sashayed out, leaving a trail of wet footprints and my blood pressure through the roof. I should have called the cops right then, or at least put a lock on the gate, but I didn't. Part of me thought she'd gotten her thrill and would move on. I mean, who sneaks into someone's pool like it's a public park? But Lydia wasn't a one-and-done kind of trespasser. She was a serial offender, and my backyard was her new resort. A week later, I came home early. Office AC was busted. Everyone sent home, and there she was again, lounging on my pizza float, this time with a full-on cocktail, complete with a pineapple slice. "Lydia!" I shouted, and she barely looked up, just pushed her sunglasses down her nose. "You're home early, Matthew. Relax. I'm just making sure this pool doesn't become a mosquito breeding ground." I was floored. "It's my pool. I don't care if it's a swamp. It's not yours to use." She sighed, like I was the one being unreasonable. "Technically, Matthew, visible amenities affect the whole neighborhood's aesthetic. As HOA president, I have a duty to ensure they're utilized." I swear, I could have thrown her cocktail into the next county. Instead, I held out my hand. "Glass. Out. Now." She handed it over, climbed out, and leaned in close, whispering, "This isn't over." Then she strutted off, leaving me staring at a trail of pineapple-scented arrogance. That's when I got smart. I installed camera cheap once from online, but good enough to catch her in 4K. Sure enough, the next week, I checked the feed during lunch, and there she was, backstroking like she was in the Olympics, a glass of wine balanced on the pool's edge. I snapped screenshots, marched to her house that evening, and showed her the evidence. "Care to explain, Lydia?" She glanced at the phone, shrugged, and said, "Could be anyone." Anyone? Who else in Raleigh wears a lime green swim cap and sips Chardonnay at noon? I realized then that logic was useless. Lydia didn't care about right or wrong. She cared about control, and she wanted my pool. Things got uglier from there. She started weaponizing her clipboard, flooding my mailbox with violation notices. Pool fence half an inch too tall, excessive water glare, leaves in pool potential insect hazard. The best one? Pool water too blue, causing visual disturbance. Too blue. I laughed so hard I nearly cried, but the fines attached weren't funny. $50 here, $100 there. She was trying to break me, to make me cave and let her share my pool for the community. At the next HOA meeting, she went for the jugular, standing up in front of everyone, her hair sprayed into a helmet, and said, "I propose we allow supervised access to underutilized amenities, like Matthew's pool on Meadowbrook Lane. It's only fair for harmony." I shot out of my chair. "Absolutely not. It's my pool, my property, not a community splash pad." She tilted her head, all fake sympathy. "Now, Matthew, nobody's taking it away. Just sharing." The room went quiet, neighbors shifting uncomfortably, too scared to cross her. She'd been HOA president for years, and her reputation for petty revenge was legendary. I walked out of that meeting fuming, knowing I was on my own. Lydia wasn't just trespassing, she was rewriting reality, twisting my sanctuary into her personal playground. That's when I stopped playing nice. I was done with her notices, her smug smiles, her fake harmony speeches. I needed to hit her where it hurt her pride. See, Lydia wasn't just power-hungry. She was obsessed with looking untouchable, strutting around like the neighborhood worshipped her. So, I hatched a plan, something straight out of my college prank days when we dyed the campus fountain neon green, just to mess with the dean. I found pool-safe dye on linen non-toxic, washes off skin, won't wreck the filter, but bright enough to make statement. I picked purple, a screaming, "Look at me purple," and ordered 50 gallons, enough to turn my pool into a glowing beacon of justice. I planned it like a heist. Cameras upgraded, angles checked, batteries charged, all feeding to a cloud recorder. I texted Tom next door, "Heads up, doing something by the pool tomorrow. Safe, but might be loud. Keep the kids inside." He sent a thumbs up and a question mark, but I knew his teens would be at practice anyway. That night, I poured the dye into the skimmer, watching the water bloom into this surreal, violet dreamscape. I left a tacky yellow towel, Lydia's favorite color, folded by the chair, an empty glass by the float, setting the stage like a director tempting an actor. Then I waited, blinds half drawn, camera feeds open, heart pounding like I was about to rob a bank. Around 3 p.m., she took the bait. The gate creaked, and in slipped Lydia's sunglasses, floppy hat, leopard print cover-up, looking like a Vegas retiree. She scanned the yard, dropped her towel, and dove in without a second thought. The water erupted around her, and when she surfaced, her smug smile lasted about 5 seconds. Her arms started glowing purple, her face, her neck, everything. She screamed, a full-on horror movie wail, splashing like she could wash it off. "What is this?" she shrieked, clawing at her skin as it turned brighter, her spray tin no match for the dye. Neighbors appeared, Tom with his hose, a couple walking their dog, kids on bikes all staring, laughing, snapping photos. I stepped outside, phone recording, and said, calm as could be, "Lydia, you're trespassing again." Got all on camera. She spun, dripping purple, pointing at me. "You monster! This is assault." I smirked. "No, you dove in. I just protected my pool." The neighbors lost it. Tom doubled over laughing, phones flashing like we were at a concert. Lydia stormed out, leaving a trail of purple footprints, her dignity in tatters. By morning, the videos were everywhere: Facebook, group chats, even a kid's TikTok with "Purple Lydia" trending locally. She tried a shaky selfie video, claiming I'd poisoned her, but the comments roasted her. "Girl, you trespassed. Take the L." At the next HOA meeting, the clubhouse was packed, neighbors buzzing like it was a movie premiere. Lydia marched in, still faintly purple at the hairline, clutching her clipboard like a lifeline. "I demand action against Matthew for endangering residents," she barked. I leaned back, arms crossed, with a margarita on my pizza float. "Lydia," the room erupted. A board member, Ellen, finally spoke up. "You've been trespassing for weeks. You abused your power." The vote to remove her was unanimous, hands shooting up like fireworks. Lydia froze, her clipboard useless, and stormed out to scattered applause. She vanished after that, curtains drawn, car parked, house for sale a month later. The violation notices stopped, the HOA promised reforms, and my pool was mine again. Standing on my patio that evening, beer in hand, I watched the water shimmer, no longer purple, just calm. It wasn't just about the pull, it was about boundaries, about standing up to someone who thinks they can rewrite your reality just because they've got a title and a pen. Lydia pushed, I pushed back, and yeah, maybe 50 gallons of purple dye was a little extra, but sometimes you need a splash to make a point. So what do you think? Was I too harsh? Or did Lydia get what she deserved? Drop your own HOA horror stories in the comments. I know you've got them. And if you laughed, cried, or cheered, hit that subscribe button. There's plenty more where this came from.